At its heart, wokeness is divisive, exclusionary, and hateful. It basically gives mean people a reason. It gives them a shield to be mean and cruel, armored in false virtue.
To summarize maybe the woke mind virus, it consists of creating very divisive identity politics. So it actually amplifies, woke mind virus, in my view, amplifies racism, amplifies, frankly, sexism, and all the isms. It's all about condemning and being divisive and being just, I think it's just evil, frankly.
I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic, and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. So, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous.
Elon Musk has been outspoken about what he calls the woke mind virus, and he's not backing down, even if it costs him losing his fortune.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
From speaking out against the biggest streaming platforms to criticizing the influence of woke culture on the education sector, Elon Musk's recent statements and actions have really ruffled feathers in the woke community, and the media isn't happy about it. So what exactly has the world's richest man said and done to spark this outrage? Let's dive into the details.
Basically going into the battleground of politics. I mean, is there a part of you that regrets that?
Yes, I don't know if this is necessarily sort of one candidate or another candidate, but it's I'm generally against things that are anti-meritocratic, or where there's an attempt to suppress discussion, where even discussing a topic is, not allowed. The woke mind virus is communism rebranded.
Freedom of speech has long been celebrated as a core American value, and for good reason. However, today, that freedom is being challenged. Speaking out against the prevailing ideology of woke culture often results in being canceled or silenced altogether. Piers Morgan explains this perfectly.
The world has moved from being woke
right, okay,
by the original. Right. I think that most people in the 60s, 70s, and 80s wanted to see better racial equality and social equality. Most people. But that's what the original definition of woke was. The modern day woke is nothing to do with that. The modern day woke is a form of fascism. Okay, so you will abide by our rules or you get destroyed.
However, one man who has been particularly vocal about the importance of free speech is Elon Musk. In one of his tweets, he wrote, "Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. Without free speech, all is lost." Musk also touched on this during an interview with Bill Maher, expressing his concerns about how the once progressive value of free speech is now being attacked.
Free speech is actually is extremely important, and it's bizarre that we've come to this point where, free speech used to be a left or liberal value, and yet we see from the in quotes left a desire to actually censor, and that seems crazy. I mean, I think we should be extremely concerned about anything that undermines the First Amendment.
This belief in the importance of free speech led Musk to set his sights on and acquire Twitter, one of the world's most influential social media platforms. Since taking over, Musk has frequently used his X account to push back against what he describes as left-leaning ideologies, a movement he refers to as the woke mind virus. And Musk's disdain for this cultural shift isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. One of his sons, Xavier, transitioned and legally changed his name to Vivian Jenna Wilson, even going so far as to publicly sever ties with Musk, stating, "I no longer want to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form." In the previous interview with Bill Maher, Musk also opened up about the pain of losing his son to the ideology he vehemently opposes.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. And I was told,
Xavier might commit suicide if he
That was a lie right from the outset.
incredibly evil. And I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
So I
personal
was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. So anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
Having experienced the impact of this woke culture firsthand, Musk is now on a mission to combat the very ideology that he believes tore his family apart. The tech mogul's antipathy towards woke policies even influenced major business decisions. In a bold move, Musk relocated SpaceX headquarters out of California. This decision came hot on the heels of the state introducing legislation protecting transgender students from being outed to their parents without consent. The law bans rules requiring school staff to disclose a student's gender identity or sexual orientation to any other person without the child's permission, a policy Musk evidently disagreed with. Elon Musk is clearly not a fan of what's happening in schools today, as it's becoming increasingly woke-centric. But before we get into that, now is the perfect time to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on the latest woke drama. Now let's move on.
The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having. And hasn't been for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 20 years.
Yes, schools are brainwashing young children into becoming anti-racist activists, pushing them to view the world primarily through the lens of skin color. Even Joe Rogan experienced this with his 5-year-old daughter, which he found shocking.
Is they hired some person to teach them that they have to be anti-racists, and it's not good enough to not be racist. And I was like, what?
The
Like, my kids aren't racist at all. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you putting that in their head that they have to be anti-racist and call out racism? And like, they were trying to make kids activists. I'm like, hey, they're 5.
That's crazy.
You know, like, they don't even care. They want friends. They don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what their friends look like. You're indoctrinating them into this woke, guilt-free or guilt-ridden ideology that you're carrying around with you, and you feel like you have an obligation to impose this on children. You know, our goals should have always been what the goals were that the liberals had in like the 60s and the 70s, which is a colorblind society. I didn't like the woke shit. I didn't like that they were, trying to ask kids their pronoun.
Elon Musk agrees with Rogan's view on this, as the owner of X commented below, stating, "Exactly. Even the movie industry isn't exempted from the woke indoctrination, and Musk isn't pleased about that."
We go to the Times, Thursday's Times, and Netflix stock has been tanking. And Elon Musk, the man with the biggest ego in the world, has been explaining why, Simon.
Well, the headline says, Elon Musk claims, quote, woke virus has made Netflix unwatchable.
In fact, Musk hasn't held back in calling out what he sees as the entertainment industry's growing embrace of woke progressive ideologies. In his view, Hollywood is ground zero for the spread of woke culture. Disney, in particular, has become a favorite target of Musk's ire. In a characteristic display of sardonic humor, Musk tweeted on April Fool's Day, "Excited to join at Disney as their chief DEI officer. I can't wait to work with Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy to make their content more woke, even the linguini." This jab was aimed squarely at Disney CEO Bob Iger and Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. Musk has been particularly critical of Kennedy's leadership of the Star Wars franchise, accusing her of infusing woke narratives into the beloved sci-fi universe. In another scathing tweet, Musk declared, "Disney has a major content problem. Almost their entire upcoming slate is unwatchable. They are the world's biggest example of go woke, go broke, LOL." These comments didn't go unnoticed by Disney. The company appeared to respond by temporarily boycotting X, halting its posts on the platform for a period in late 2023. Speaking of Disney shows, they are now heavily focused on woke culture. Ben Shapiro shares the same thoughts as Elon Musk about the woke movement. I actually made a whole video on this, so be sure to check that video right away. Click here.